Farewell to Britain's leading painter, David Hockney, Marseille's first photographic family, and a playful political take on Monet's water lilies. That's all coming up in today's show. Well, first, British artist David Hockney has died aged 88. The painter, best known for his figurative, colourful canvases, was a leading figure in the pop art movement of the 1960s, as well as being a celebrated portraitist and landscape artist. In recent years, Hockney had embraced modern technology to create his images, using pixels to paint with, while retaining his unique visual signature. Let's take a look back at his body of work. A painter who brought light, colour and joy to gallery walls, and whose prodigious body of work spanned 7 decades.
I wasn't a person who looked at the past that much. I live in the now. But this exhibition makes me see what I've done, and I see it quite powerful, yes.
David Hockney made a splash on the art scene in the 1960s with his use of saturated colour, precise compositions and luminous landscapes.
He really did help define an image of California today and how we see California, that ideal of California dreaming, California living.
A far cry from his native Yorkshire in the north of England, Hockney's 1972 portrait of an artist with 2 figures sold for more than $90 million in 2018. It combines the painter's 2 great talents, landscapes and portraits, with a mysterious tension holding the piece together. Friends, family and fond acquaintances were favourite sitters, although the artist did not take commissions and reportedly turned down the offer to paint Queen Elizabeth II. Retrospectives in LA, New York, London and Paris cemented his reputation as a major name in figurative art. In later years, Hockney added technology to his palette, making drawings on an iPad, cheerfully exploiting the digital tools at his disposal, despite reservations elsewhere in the art world.
He always conceived of his work as something positive, a body of work that wasn't afraid of deliberately seducing its viewers.
Nature progressively became the central theme of Hockney's work.
The spring was an excitement for me because, having lived in California for 25 years, where there really is not much spring. I mean, it's tropical.
A vast exhibition at the Louis Vuitton Foundation in Paris surveyed 70 years of Hockney's art. Working tirelessly into his 80s, the artist's output still conveyed the vibrancy and energy of youth in this, his final season. Next, she was an icon of cinema, a woman often obscured by her aura of Hollywood glamour, sex appeal and high-profile romantic relationships. 100 years after her birth, Marilyn Monroe, the artist, is being reappraised with an exhibition at the Cinémathèque Française in Paris. A chance to rediscover the actress's rich body of work. Luc Schrago and Florence Gaillard went to check it out.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
She was the original blonde, an unparalleled star, and she would have been 100 this year. An orphan by the name of Norma Jean Baker, she became a 1940s pin-up girl before Hollywood got hold of her and turned her into Marilyn Monroe. On her roster, cult comedies such as Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, in which she played the femme fatale, both sexy and naive at the same time.
The character of the blonde bimbo created unforgettable movies in the history of cinema. But it was a bit of a demeaning image, and from the middle of the 1950s, Marilyn Monroe tried to set herself free, putting distance between herself and Hollywood, by moving to New York City, creating a production business, and publicizing the fact that she wanted more diverse and complex roles.
Darker roles too worthy of her talent, like The Misfits, written by the actor's husband Arthur Miller in 1961. It was, however, to be her final movie. Marilyn Monroe died of an overdose of barbiturates a year later at the age of 36. Was it suicide? a murder or an accident? Even today, the mystery still feeds into the Marilyn Monroe myth.
Marilyn was an icon. I didn't even know that she was an actor when I was a kid. I had her on my diary because this blonde, this voluptuous woman, she symbolized femininity.
A Marilyn fan and actor in her own turn, Ulaya Amamra still has things to discover about her idol through film and photo.
From what you can see in photos of her, I think she kept a certain naivety, the innocence of childhood within the woman she was. I think it's a bit mysterious. She had this kind of grace about her, and that's not something you can try to create artificially. Honestly, it's what fascinates me about her.
All sorts of stars these days have made the iconic platinum blonde their own, from Beyoncé to Billie Eilish, and of course the original Material Girl, Madonna. The Marilyn Monroe exhibition runs at the Paris Cinematheque until July the 12th.
Now, it's a very 21st century take on Monet's shimmering water lilies as Chinese artist Ai Weiwei revisits the Impressionist masterpiece using 650,000 Lego bricks. Behind the technical prowess involved is a more intimate story marked by exile, dissent, and the artist's family history. Jenny Shin has this report.
From afar, an abstract painting inspired by Monet's water lilies. Up close, an ocean of plastic blocks. 650,000 studs of Lego bricks assembled like pixels.
It's quite something, really quite something.
What I like to think is that water lilies continue to inspire, but personally, I prefer to go and see the original.
Two gigantic and fragile works that come together panel by panel. It's a puzzle-like challenge for the museum staff to install.
When they packaged it, they made sure to put cellophane on the edges to keep the Lego on the panel. But as they're not glued on, there's a risk of bits falling off.
There is a contingency plan in case of an accident. A 288-page notice that maps every millimeter of the work.
So, as you can see on this document, I have the exact location of each piece with the reference of the colors used. Then the galleries that lend us the works provide us with spare parts in case we lose some.
The man behind the madness, Ai Weiwei, a megastar on the contemporary art scene, an artiste provocateur, and a thorn for the Chinese government. In this famous photo, he smashes a 2,000-year-old antique. On another, his then-girlfriend flashes her underwear at Tiananmen Square. He's loud and vocal and not afraid to criticize Beijing, to the point of ending up in prison and forced into exile. Even the Lego brand now keeps its distance.
They said, we don't sell Legos for political usage. I said, then what am I going to do? So I put this note on Instagram.
Ai Weiwei has slipped a piece of his own story into the work, a dark portal to the underground dugout in Xinjiang, where he and his father, also a dissident, lived in forced exile in the 60s.
To Marseille now, where an exhibition is honouring a family of local photographers who've been capturing the city for more than 160 years. The Detaille dynasty has built up a fascinating archive of images which bear witness to life in the port city. Our reporter Florence Gaillard went to learn more about them.
At the entrance to the Marseille History Museum, Gerard Detaille welcomes visitors. He is the third generation in a line of photographers who have captured Marseille in thousands of photographs. The origin of their family dynasty dates back to 1860, when they met Parisian portraitist Nadar.
Nadar, after falling out with his son, came down here to Marseille and decided to settle and open a studio. He asked Fred Boissonnat, a famous photographer from Geneva, to recommend an assistant, a second in command. And Boissonnas suggested the young Fernand Detaille. Nadar told him, "Young man, you're going to take my portrait." And the portrait turned out well, quite quickly. So he said to him, "Young man, I can see you're no fool. We'll do business together."
Their studio was set up in the Old Quarter, right next to major art galleries. Here, painters, enthusiasts and clients crossed paths. All memories from Gerard's youth.
To give you an idea of just how intertwined family life was with the life of the artist and the craft, well, my father would sometimes get up from the dinner table to go take the plates out of the developing bath, the negatives.
The family immortalised the trades, factories and historical events of their times, and captured iconic places like the Old Port and the Château-d'If fortress bathed in light.
This one is close to my heart because I made it by taking an army plane made of canvas and wood. And the pilot said to me as he arrived, "Don't worry, I'll cut the gas." So he cut the gas to avoid too much vibration, and I told him, "But that's crazy." And he said, "No, I'll start it up again." And I wouldn't be here today if it hadn't started up again.
For Marseille residents, a highlight of the exhibition has been sporting themselves in the images. Recently, a couple recognised themselves in this engagement photo, taken 40 years ago. A moment of happiness on display until October 31st.
While staying in France's second city, the Festival of Marseille is getting started with music, dance and cinema popping up in different sites over the next 3 weeks. It's the 31st edition of this arts showcase in the south. We'll leave you with some of the highlights. Otherwise, do join us here next time on Arts 24, and we're on social media too.